I'm Cynthia Crowfoot, and I am here at the Oakville Film Festival. This is their 10th year, and I am sitting with some individuals involved in the film called Polarized. We have the two lead female actors, as well as a singer, and I'm just going to interview them a little bit here.
How's Dad? My dad used to have a real farm a mile down that road.
I want to ask first for the two of you, what drew you to this project? What brought you and got you involved in this project?
Sure. I'm Maxine Dennis, and I play Dahlia. Well, what drew me to the film is that we're actors and I want to act. And so it was an awesome opportunity when I saw it. And, seeing, I've said this in the past, but, a character that is so in depth, and Shamim wrote an incredible script. She wrote a script that had layers and it had a lot of depth to the characters. And so I was definitely drawn to that. And I was drawn to the fact that it was an incredible representation of Palestinians in a film, in Canada as a whole. So it was a truly incredible opportunity to be able to be in this film.
My name is Holly, and I play the role of Lisa. And what attracted me to this script, beyond employment, which is always wonderful, was that it was really just a simple story in some ways that became so complex because of the boundaries that were placed upon these two main characters of Dahlia and Lisa. And then beyond that, I have always loved music. I've always loved singing. I don't know if I've ever been an expert at it like some people over here, but my character was a sort of a struggling singer-songwriter who was sort of only able to express herself through music until she finally meets and begins to fall in love with Dahlia, played by Maxine. And the songs were done by Brooke, and it was so cool to be able to sing them because they were just really, really beautiful. And that was something that I learned after getting the role and reading the script and all of those things, so it was very cool.
So, and Brooke, so how much freedom and leeway were you given with respect to the music of the film? Was it more structured with, we need this specifically to portray this, or were you given kind of carte blanche, let's see what you can do with it first?
You might be disappointed with this answer. So a lot of the music was actually from my first EP that I'd done when I was maybe 18, living in Manitoba still. And so it had just been sitting on the shelf for years, essentially. And then when I first got word of the project was during the peak of the pandemic. I was familiar with Shamim's, more of her activism at that time. And so she was someone that I actually followed on Instagram, just because I was very passionate about the things she spoke about. And when I initially submitted my audition for it, the song I ended up submitting was the one you sing halfway through.
For you?
No.
Cruel Joke?
Cruel Joke.
Oh,
that's the one.
Iconic song of the movie.
So what's so nice is that a lot of this was already kind of done already. And so it was just a re-recording of everything, and then a recording with Holly as well. And it kind of gave us a chance to revisit these songs I'd written at a very young age, and then also to bring on some of the newer music I'd written during the pandemic. What was nice about Cruel Joke is I was writing it from my bedroom in Toronto, thinking about the prairies in Manitoba and missing my family there. And so it kind of just fit perfectly. And then the song Polarized ended up being the one that I wrote for the film, and that plays at the end of the film, and we're playing it tonight.
I think that's great. The film was really good, and what I like about it is that it tells a love story from a new perspective, right? Not just because it's two females, but because it's a different perspective on dynamics, on conflict, on a whole bunch of things. What would you say would be the biggest challenge in telling a story of that nature?
I think in terms of the challenges for that, I think it kind of came naturally with the way the script was written, at least for me. Because Shamim is a novelist at heart, she's an author, she's written many books. She wrote a script that felt quite complete in terms of the stage directions and the dialogue and the way it all unfolded. It felt like a complete story. And so I found myself sort of engrossed in it. And so when it came to actually portraying Dahlia and being on set and telling the story alongside Holly and all the other incredible actors on set, I felt like it all sort of came to me. And I did find that, these two women sort of had the struggles of family, because at the end of the day, despite all their differences, they had a lot of similarities as well with regards to their family dynamics, families that care a lot and sometimes care too much. And that's kind of one of the challenges that we encounter in that film. But as an actor, I found it truly to be incredible to work with Shamim and the direction that she offered, and Hanan and her sort of insight to the Palestinian side of things and all that stuff. So there really was an incredible support system throughout the film and throughout the process of making it. So it was really a lot of fun in that sense, yeah.
We were talking about the challenges of telling the story from this specific point of view, right? Well, there are a lot of heavy themes, right? You're dealing with racism, you're dealing with religion, you're dealing with two women finding their sexuality, sort of being honest to themselves about having feelings for another woman. And I think what could have been challenging would have been being inauthentic in any of that. And I think what worked really well is that we were able to find these moments of quiet intimacy, sort of just through looks, glances, the slightest brushing up against each other, something that just speaks volumes without necessarily shoving the truth in the audience's face. It's about longing. And I think that delicacy sort of gave us this sun-dappled path through the story, and I think it turned out real nice.
It did turn out really nice, and I'm finding that one of the strong themes through the Oakville Film Festival's docket of films this year is finding family, finding home, finding love, and then also portraying the similarities despite perceived differences. Right? And I think that that's a really key message that needs to be shared with more people, especially in today's world. So in closing, let me ask all three of you, what is the one message that you would like audiences to take with them when they leave the theater?
Great question. Wow. Yeah, you get to think on it just a little bit. I'm here ooh, what's that message? No, honestly, I think in my mind, it's the simple message of, if it's something that means something to you, go and get it. I think it's as simple as that for me.
It's powerful and simple. Well done.
Thanks.
Well done.
Nice, yeah.
I think mine would probably tie into the lovely thing you just said, which is we're much more similar than we realize. And sometimes it's a case of dropping your own walls and your own preconceptions about someone or a specific community or whomever in order to really be able to connect. So, you just kind of try and see past the BS and figure out what's going on there, because it's probably just as genuine and simple as what you've got going on.
I'm going to piggyback off that. Yeah, I think a lot of what I've been learning the last few years is just being eager to listen to other people and their experiences, and it does help to inform and expand your worldview. And so I think ultimately any perceived differences, as you were both alluding to, are just that. They're perceived. And once you spend time in conversation with other people, whether that's people from the LGBTQIA community or something like the Palestinian community, it's just engaging with that story in a way that's authentic and, yes, being very open to what you're going to receive.
I think it's being a little bit vulnerable, right? And just people are people. And I don't think that you can, it's like one bad apple does not ruin the entire barrel, right? So, well, thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me. I appreciate it. I am Cynthia Crowfoot. This is the Oakville Film Festival. We're in the 10th year, and this was the film Polarized. If you get a chance, please see it.